Well, a good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us. This is The Defining Moment. My name is Anthony Ndiema. It could be a good afternoon, a good morning, wherever you are, but thank you very much for tuning in. On The Defining Moment, we listen to very powerful stories. Some are stories of near-death experience, some are stories of hopelessness, but through it all, there was at that particular point, the defining moment where things turned, and today some of these people are living purpose and they're living what they were created for. So welcome. Today we are speaking to Reverend David Njeru, who is founder and lead pastor of Transformation Ministries Royal Treasure in Riruta Satellite, and he's here with us sharing a very powerful testimony of an experience that happened to the daughter. But as a result of that, something else was birthed. And today he's saying, you're not a failure. I'm not a failure. You are not a failure. We are all conquerors. Karibu sana mchungaji. It's good to have you.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Yes.
And it is powerful to be here in the defining moment.
Lovely.
Every moment we have to see the good out of it. I can normally say that you have to see Christ in the crisis.
You have to see Christ in the crisis.
You have to see Christ in the crisis.
Wow. What a way to start.
Awesome.
So Reverend David Njeru, just tell us a bit more about yourself. Give us a bit more details. I know you're lead pastor, but you do many other things.
Yeah. Actually, as you have just said, I'm the lead pastor of a young church called Transformation Ministries Royal Treasure Church, Kabiria. This is a church we started about 1.5 years ago.
Right.
And apart from being a lead pastor, I am also a youth mentor. We normally coach the youth to live their purpose. So I can say that I'm a purpose coach and a purpose trainer.
Right.
I also do leadership training in corporates and in churches and in various circles, leadership training and development.
Right.
I also do counseling, professional counseling. I'm a trained counselor. And apart from counseling, I also do what we call a School of Excellence. A School of Excellence is a training program that seeks to bring out the best in people, the best in, bring out the purpose of what God created you for. It's called the School of Excellence. It has a curriculum, and we train you to see what God had in mind when He created you, because most of the people don't know why they were created. And apart from that, I am also an international mediator. I'm a trained international mediator.
Wow.
I do mediation and reconciliation. And apart from that, the best part of it, I'm married to one female wife.
Yes.
Naomi.
It's important too.
She's a wonderful, lovely lady. And with us, God has blessed us with 3 children, biological.
Wow.
And we'll be speaking about them.
That's true.
Jamin Njeru, the late, and then Season Mwaki, and Segula Kazuri. Those names are very powerful. And for those who are still in the industry of making babies, so to speak, consult. Just don't give your boy or a girl any name.
Right.
Give a prophetic name.
That's right. I
Thank
have
you.
a story about names.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that in another session altogether.
Awesome.
So Reverend Njeru,
Yep.
as you were doing ministry and doing your work and studying, of course you're also raising your children.
Yeah.
Tell us about that experience, and as you tell us about that, let's know how your relationship was or has been with Germany.
This is a story I've told over and over. And the best way of healing from trauma,
Right.
from tragedy, is to speak about it. Don't bottle it out. If it is to cry, just go ahead and cry. Now, as I said, we have 3 biological children. Jamini Njeru was our firstborn.
Right.
She had just turned 14 years and 1 month. That was in September 23rd, 2019. 2019.
All right. Okay.
For those who are new in this, there was a tragedy that happened in the Precious Talent School in Dagoretti South, in Nairobi, Kenya.
Right.
And the students were there in the morning. They were just doing their morning studies. She was in class 8. She was the best student, a candidate, the best. Index number 001. Wow. And in her tender age, she was already an education mentor. Why am I saying so? Because she had already told us that out of this exam, I am going to bring home 430 to 450.
Wow.
She was aspiring to be a medical doctor. And since she joined that school, she was always topping, and with a big gap. Wow. And the seatmate who was sitting next to her, and she was her mentor in academically. And she was the girl now who topped the school, who had 408 marks.
Wow.
So for her, we still give her the 430, the 450.
She was aspiring to get.
Yes, which was aspiring to get. A genius of a kind. She would just pick anything and create something out of it.
Right.
And at home, when we were just having our own chat, she would just come in and give her mind. And she was actually one of our best advisors. She would say, Dad, you don't need to do this. Mom, you don't need to do this. Wow. Suppose we do this. And we were very, very happy for her. And we kept on encouraging her to be the best version of herself. Wow. Because she was already running her own race. She was not competing with anyone.
Right.
She knew where she wants to go. Our relationship was very cordial, very warm. And we had already trained her, I had already trained her on how to lead, how to actually to teach Sunday school. And she was qualified.
Right.
And she was very quick to grasp concepts, and then she would be able to bring it in her own way beautifully. And I remember I also led her to Christ, in her own birthday when she was 7 years old.
Amazing.
I led her to Christ, and it was a powerful moment.
Wow. So this day, I don't know what happened. Did you get a call?
Well, that particular moment was on a Monday morning. Monday morning. I was still doing my studies, and my professor, Professor Njuguna, I had gone to see him in his office in Utawala very early in the morning. I had a 7 o'clock appointment. And coming from Riruta Satellite to Utawala, and I'm not driving, I'm using public means. By 6:30 I was in town.
Right.
And I had just seated in his office. We had just exchanged some pleasantries.
Right.
And because he was my professor, I was still studying. I was doing my BA that time. And so we had just done a few things, and I had already started my master's.
Right.
So, we had to exchange a few areas and see, am I doing okay, am I on course? And when I'm there, I see a call from a pastor friend of mine.
All right.
And as my norm is, I don't normally pick calls from somebody's office.
Yeah, when you're in a meeting.
Yeah, it's bad
Courtesy.
manners.
Yeah,
it's bad manners. Courtesy. So,
right.
And I saw that number. Somehow, I asked Professor, excuse me, could I please pick this call? And this was a pastor friend of mine, Pastor Habakkuk. We work in the same ministry, and he has a church in Ngando. So it happened that time that he was actually doing a PPI in a neighboring school.
Right.
So when I picked the call, outside the professor's office, there was a lot of noise from the background. There was a lot of screams. So as usual, he greeted me, Kuhani, where are you? Then I said, before I could answer, I could hear a lot of, where are you? I could hear a lot of noise there, a lot of sirens. And they told me, hurry up, the school that your children's schools has collapsed.
Oh my.
And it was like a sword cutting across my heart. And for a moment, I'm not sure for how long the silence was. Then I told him, almost commanding him, you know my children, please look for them. And that was the end of it. So I went back and told Professor, things are not okay here. I need to rush. I'll tell you what has happened. I've just received a call and this is the information. Wow. So I packed my computer very quickly and I left and I went to the stage to pick a bus to town. Right. I was thinking of taking a motorcycle. Then I was thinking that I will not be, I could have done that, but, I thought I'll not be stable. I will find myself on the tarmac. I thought of a Uber. Then I thought now in the morning, this is a big jam.
That's true.
And that is the time now I thought of a helicopter. Then I said, wow, I can fly there.
Yes.
Yes, or I could just grow some wings and find myself.
Right. There was a lot of tension.
There was tension. There was a lot of
unease, right?
Unease. There was a lot of sweating. And when I entered into the city hopper, I was seated there. I could actually even feel my heartbeat.
Oh my.
It was beating hard. I was thinking, now, what could have happened?
So you have 3 children in that school?
I had
at that
2
point,
children.
2 children.
2 children.
All right.
My son, Season, was in that school.
All right.
And immediately before I could enter into the bus,
yes.
I immediately I disconnected. I called my wife.
Right.
And she was preparing actually the other daughter. The other daughter was in a different school. So the
Right.
son and my firstborn and the secondborn son were in the same school.
Right.
So I called her, and for a miraculous happening, she picked the call at the first ring.
Right.
I'm not saying that she doesn't pick calls, but
Right.
of course, ladies normally carry very many
Yeah,
bags,
by the time
and I
she-
don't know where the phone is. And at this time, she picked once, and I said, "Well, I've just received a call, and this is the situation. The school has collapsed. Please leave the young child. She'll
Go
be able
to
to prepare herself. She'll go to school by herself. Just run there."
Right.
Then she told me, "You are finished." And we are just going together, and I will leave her to go. So she went to the tragedy, and we kept on
Right,
communicating.
speaking, right.
And she told me, well, this place, after she reached the ground, she told me this place is terrible.
There's
Terrible.
confusion.
There was confusion, there was cry, there is screaming, and the place was in a mess.
Right.
I'm in the bus going towards town. I could even see some people looking at me, what is happening with this guy? Because that time I realized I was actually sweating, and it's the morning. And I'd never made an attempt to wipe away the sweat.
The sweat, yes.
Because now you don't know. If I just tried to wipe the sweat, what would happen? So we went, but then there was a lot of jam along the road.
Wow.
So instead of going to town, I alighted at Nyayo Stadium.
Aha.
Then I said, this is the best route. So I liked the Nyayo Stadium. Then I walked to Kenyatta Hospital because I told her, just go around Ngando and find out from anywhere. Because she told me, I have seen our son, Season Mwaki.
Wow.
He was in a different class. He was in class 7, in a different class.
Right.
But in the previous night, they were in the same room that collapsed because there was a small party there. And we spent some time in school that day on Sunday, just encouraging the candidates and also getting a briefing for the KCPE. And the class had prepared a party, and they were in the same class, the class that collapsed. And so she tells me, we have seen our son.
Yes.
And he is well and sound.
All right.
But
We don't know.
But he says,
Yes.
it's like I saw our daughter running out of the class and fall just after the class.
Wow.
And then I asked her, where is she now? Have you seen her? They said, no, we haven't. And so she continues to just look around the facilities around there. Then I told her, I am going to Kenyatta National Hospital. You just check around because already there are some people already there.
Right.
By that time, I would receive like 1,000 calls, and I was not able to pick any. And the only call was now from my wife's number, and that's the number that we were communicating with.
All right, hold it right there. We'll be coming back in a short while with Reverend Jero, and he'll be telling us exactly what happened after that. They have seen the son, but the daughter, the son says, the last I saw, she was running out of that class, that
And
collapse.
she wasn't sure.
But
he
wasn't
wasn't sure. He wasn't sure.
He wasn't sure as well. So we come back to know what exactly happened and why today we are saying you are not a failure. Don't go too far.
All right.